Dear students, now we'll continue with this PPDT story ideas so that you can get some more ideas. Remember one thing, that picture perception discussion test stories are a short glimpse for the psychologist. One story can cost you rejection at the door point. You will not be able to justify your personality with the detailed psychology, because one story if you write wrong. So you have to be very careful. You have to identify the sense that in PPDT, 2-3 things is very, very important, particularly in story writing. We will talk about narration later, but narration and thereafter the way you behave in the group discussion does matter. But the basic area is story writing. So if your story writing goes deviant, goes awry, does not follow the right path, and you send a wrong written message, then for sure you will get screened out. So it is very important that you please send the right message in the very first screening. Here we are getting another story by Umesh Jha from Patna. He says, suppose I get this picture that a man is addressing some people, what am I going to do in story writing? As we have already said, in PPDT, they first mark your ability to observe keenly. Okay? So what do you do in keen observation? You will have to identify how many characters you saw. Just a second. So how many characters you saw? You see one man, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as per the rule, you have to mark 1 here, 2 here, suppose 3 here, 4 here. Sorry, let's take it as 1, 2, 3, right, then 4. I'm making a bigger spot, though you have to make a small one just to make you see from a distance. And then you have to write M, which is male, because all of them are male. So you will write male here, male here, male here, male here, male here. And generally they are positively listening. So we can put positive sign here also, positive, or you can even write neutral also. No issues. You can write neutral also. And here you can write positive because this man is addressing. Now, particularly, this is very clear that he is addressing the villagers, right? Now, what kind of addressal is he doing? Are you thinking of a selfish point, or are you thinking of a important point for the entire community? It can be related to crop improvement. It can be related to irrigation. It can be related to some kind of sanitation. It can be related to working together in cooperative farming. So you've got so many ideas already. So many ideas. So when a person with a village background is working, it naturally will be thinking of either improvement in the seeds, or improvement in the fertilizers, or will be thinking of irrigation, or will be thinking of some social issue, or will be thinking of resolving conflict amicably, not by collecting them and telling them that now we are going to take the stick and beat the others. So when you think of positive thing, automatically your direction of thought is on the right direction, your story will be right, and the result should be positive. So how are you going to write? You can make this your central hero because he is in the best command. You can make him that XYZ. Suppose Umesh Jha from Patna wants to write down Ravi Jha was a new Pradhan. He collected all the farmers, 4 or 5 of the major farmers, and sat down and told them that there are a lot of government schemes and one has to monitor them to identify, and they can take full benefit if they basically work in a better scientific method. The farmers listen keenly to him. Then he explains them how they can simplify the application and how they can get better crop production. Everybody understands, and he, by example, always remember, leading is not by mere mouth, it is to set examples. If you really want to be an effective leader in times ahead, You have to set example. So here Ravi Jha himself set example by doing well and doing well by applying it properly on his field. Then others also followed and the village became prosperous. Can be written. Even Ravi Jha can talk about how they can improve their irrigation by that sprinkling irrigation. So he tells all of them by using this they will be able to get better crop production. Initially they are not convinced, but then he says that the crops, the soil is well moist, then the result is better. And if they put a lot of water and put it in pressure, then often the soil gets washed away. So now all these kind of convincing points can be added in the story and made relevant. So the way you write your story, the way you write systematically from A to Z is what is seen. Remember in PPDT they are expecting you to write a story which is sensible, which is practical, which is commonsensical. What is the purpose? What did the psychologist tell you? Think what who is the person. Now here, who is the central character? This character. So you have already circled him. You want to write a irrigation, so you can write irrigation issue. You want to write something on better crop production, write better crop production as the title. Or you want to write on social social issues, write social issues, and then he explains them that they should not talk about casteism and the government policies are changing. They have to understand, to be wise, to be open to new changes, to be open to nice wisdom. Right? Anything can be written, but the way you write is very important. What did the psychologist tell you? Go back to the basics. The psychologist told you that imagine a central character. What did he see? Or what did he think? What did he plan thereafter? What did he tell? What did he act? And what was the result? So what did he see? He saw that people do not have this understanding. So what did he think? He thought of collecting them. Then what did he do? Thereafter he told them, he explained them, he convinced them what was, and gave good examples. As you know, every action requires more than one step of action. Do it, and finally in the end you can show positive result of the same. So this way you've written a beautiful story. Is it clear? I hope this example can open your eyes to many things, because the situation can be applied differently. Yes, it is an agricultural area, it can be a township. Now there are some legal graduates sitting here, and legal graduates often go into villages near to their college for what? For giving legal aid. What do you mean by legal aid? Helping people, make them understand how they can fight. Many a time, many of the farmers, they are not aware of their land rights, they are not aware of their property papers, and then they lose. So you can say this. You can say that one of the new lawyers, he went there to converse better. He decided that he will simply dress himself in simple kurta pajama and then talk to the people, not only with all the details but in their language, so that they can understand and solve their problem. You can write. So the multiplication of thoughts will make you richer, confident and better. You are here to invite more ideas. You are here to learn more ideas. You are here to apply, get your mind functional to different kind of thoughts. And then you will be able to select the right thoughts. So let's go to the next one, please. I hope this is clear. Okay. Yes, in the C, I'm sorry. I have not written the age. You can write the age. They will write male, 24, 25. This. Yes. Okay. Now let's come down to the next situation. This picture, this photo query has come from Amit Patel from Bharuch. I am very happy to hear that people from Gujarat are also planning, because I don't know. Many times I believe a lot of Gujaratis, they generally go into business, not join the armed forces. Well, Amit, it is nice to see that, but let's come back to the thing. Here, they're very clearly showing that a lady is there, middle-aged lady, young lady. A man is there, middle-aged, and a young boy. Now we can take it as you. You are talking to your father, mother, and sister, right? When do you talk to them, particularly for some important work, some responsibility, or achievement? As I told you, that any story where you are seeing a nice family gathering, you can always take it as a sense of achievement. That when he achieves, then the family comes and bids farewell, he takes their permission. Can do that. You don't think that it is a young man, you want to talk about a brother, you can always take off. Amit had his brother and he was going for a different job. He told not to worry. He told his wife that to make the things ready for him, and told his daughter that he can pack things for him. He also helped his brother do things. He also gave him money. Now this kind of helpful, necessary action is also leadership. So don't you think that you have to create a propaganda kind of story to sound as a leader? You can write something which is sensible, which speaks of how beautiful you sense the need of others, how you support them, how you plan, how you lead them. These all things make a lot of difference. Now, let's come down to the marking, which we have not done. We can automatically come to the marking how? You see one here, so you have made one dot, one more dot. This is both female, so both female. And this is two male, you have made them male. This is male, you want to make them neutral, no problems. Write their mood as neutral, and this man as positive, this also neutral, whatever. Then you want to observe their age, you can write this as 20, this person, lady's age is 40, this person's age is 45, this person's age also is 40 somewhere, and because he's the younger brother which you're telling, and try to show. Now you will say, sir, why shouldn't we make a young gender? Yeah, you have that issue, that why don't we make a young character so that we can show? No, your father has also been a very good example for your story. So even if you have observed and you have shown a responsible behavior of a middle-aged person, I think you've done a fine job. So you can show that this is it. If you want to make it a young person, 25 years old, you want to make it, now you want to make a social worker, you can do that. But something sensible, something where camaraderie is there, somewhere cooperation is there, somewhere planning and strategy and support is there, can also be written. A person is going to make his house, he comes forward, tells that not to worry, I will help you. Then he helps in making the plan. You can write it. You can write n number of stories. You can write a simple story of support while he was going out. So he said, not to worry, I'll take care of your wife and younger daughter. And he made it a point that every day before going to the office, he used to come there, take a list of whatever they needed and give it to him. And after a few days when he returned, the problem was solved. Now, these kind of stories speaks your naturalness. One more thing I want to tell you. If you are abnormal in your psychology, you will write dramatic stories. You will write highly megalomaniac stories. Megalomaniac means huge, grandeur, big stories. You will write stories which are too much more than required. Now, in this simple situation, a simple action of support, cooperative support is enough. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Remember, psychology doesn't mean dramatizing that you want to become an officer, but it means the right action at the right time, but original thought. Now, one more way, I'll teach you one more technique of writing original thought. When you look at the background of the people, you can use that the person was in whichever city you belong to, and give that the answer. Is it clear? Okay. Now let's come back out of this and go to the next one so that you can understand. Now we are coming to this picture number 8. This again is a story from Kishore Shah from Surat. Again, Diamond City, I am very happy to say and note that it is so. I hope they're not a businessman's son. I think they may be one of the people whose father is working in some government departments who want to go on. Even if they are businessmen, then welcome. They are coming ahead for the national service. That's wonderful. Now let's talk about Kishore Shah. You hearing? So listen to this. Now, in this picture, there is a lady which seems to be a scientist or a researcher because they are doing some experiments. This person is also wearing a coat. This can be a biochemist, most probably. This can be a scientist. This can be a doctor. This can be a pathologist. Yes. So there are already 3 ideas I have given you. If you have shown that she is a doctor who does pathological study, so you know in Corona what all amount of tests people have to do. You can write about that. She worked right day and night and made sure that maximum people got well. So this thought of hers to work day and night and understand the sense of responsibility for the occasion is also good enough. There were many people who hid themselves in those times, thinking that they don't pick up the infection. But there were many who used their scientific knowledge as well as their sense of dedication and work. You can also think of a biochemist who works for a proper system of finding a solution for very, very rare diseases and works around the clock, takes the help of a senior, and they work together. If this is also seeming to a lady, so you can take both the lady professors. Now again, in the marking, you know very well, you have to make 1 dot here. Just a second, you have to make 1 dot here and another dot. You can make 1 dot here and write F, and this also is, this is another dot here and write it F, and this both seems to be positive, write it positive, seems more aged, so make it 45, seems younger, make it 30, whatever you want to do. And you want to make this person as the central character, make the circle. If you think you want to put that senior person as you make that and then go ahead with the story. So now these kind of different stories can come up. It can come about a pathologist. It can come about a chemist. It can come about a scientist. It can come up with different things. Yes. Yes. Now again, the same point many people had asked. Now this is female gender. So do the male people write stories here or get a character from outside? In PPDT, specifically, you have to create a story from the character shown in the picture. So you cannot get a character from outside. Yes, in thematic apperception test, you have the freedom to use any character. It can be a character from outside. There's no rule. But in PPDT, the rule is specified. So you can pick. And I am again saying that it doesn't make a difference whether the gender be X or Y. If the gender is showing qualities of responsibility, planning, strategy, efforts, and determination, all these things are supposed to be yours. And your sensibility is yours. Plus, this picture, if it is showing a girl, you are supposed to write a girl as your hero. Suppose the picture is showing boys, you may be girl, so what? You'll have to make that character as a boy and write about it. You have enough examples. Don't be gender prejudiced. Is it clear? Let's go further. I think now the speed has come. So you've already done 7 stories and multiplied your thoughts to many more times. You can keep working. We will help you with a lot of assessment exercise, so you can send it over to us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Our team is planning to multiply. I'm sure the March onwards we'll be working full glow along with whatever best way we can help you. The idea is psychology is something very unique. It is something which is very fluid, and it should be. Your common sense and logic should be top mode. Now we're coming down to picture number 9. This John D'Souza is sent from Panji. Okay, I think near Goa. Okay, right. So John probably would be joining the thing. Okay, I hope John is seeing. Here there is a man sitting with 3 people. Now what is a father doing? What does a father do? Have you experienced, John? Or you have experience? He always educates his child something better which they can use practically. Whether it's a villager, whether it's a merchant, whether it's a teacher, whether it's an officer, whether it's a doctor, they always try to help their children with the best of knowledge so that their experience can be useful for them and they don't have to take a long journey. They can do well. So here, this gentleman sit down with all the three sons, explains them not only about the different tables, but also explains them different things in life via stories so that they can learn the importance of hard work, the importance of values. And if you've learned all these things, I'm sure if you learned from your father, you'll end up writing such stories which you learned. You don't learn only from your father, you sometimes even learn from some person in your village if you have visited, or in some place you have some elderly person who's telling some stories. You learn. After all, learning is never ending, and it should never be, because that is how you will evolve and that is how you will do. I am standing at 56 plus and still I am trying to adopt to this new technology applications in a bigger dimensions. And of course, I'm trying to get more friendly with it, more fluid with it, and more effective with it, right? So, when I can do that, why not you youngsters, you are young bloods, 18, 19, 20, 24, max 25. Many of you, yes, from the Air Force and the Navy, who are a little on the senior side, but still young, much younger than me. So, you can always change. So, learning is a continuous. Now, what are you going to do? Again, the marking scheme here. You don't have to specifically, there are people who make it a rule that they will make small people of the same. Now, these are three people and there is a fourth person. Again, male, they seem to be male, yes, they seem to be male, all three males. Okay, all of them positive or neutral or whatever you want to write. Male, this is positive. Now, you want to put this man as somewhere around 40 years of age or 30 years of age, whatever you want to do. In case you don't want 40, just a second. Sorry, this is positive, 30 years of age. This is neutral. You can write as 8 years, 9 years, or 8 years, whatever you want to write. And he playfully taught them, made them understand how things can be worked. Now, how is the psychologist going to decode the story? The moment you write such kind of productive action where you have made small children understand things, he understands that when you become an officer, you'll be able to rightfully guide the troops in via stories, via other things, and via motivations. Am I right? So you can make this as your central character and write a story. You want to give it a title, you can say Wise Lessons, because naturally somebody is speaking on that, or experience, learning from experience. Any title you can give. Any title which comes as the major thought process. Got it? So, is it clear? You can talk about a teacher giving primary education, and then he is there and he first begins with 3 students and then he multiplies it to 40. He wins their confidence and they get their friends, and thus he becomes a very successful teacher. Whatever you want to write. Now you will say that the teacher has to be dressed with a coat and a tie or something. Not necessary. In village areas, people generally look simple. They try to connect and then they teach. Possible. You can even take to a Gram Pradhan who is telling the boys of the village and teaching. So I'm giving you ideas. But you have to develop on it. Okay, let's come back to the last one. I'm sure you will understand that. Now this story is by Aryan Kulshesh, Kolhapur. Okay. Now this is specifically clear. There seems to be some teacher or some senior sitting and 2 students kind of people or subordinates. Now this picture can be taken as cadets from National Defence Academy or cadets from IMA standing in front of the instructor, or students standing in front of the teacher, or students standing in front of the principal. Now comes the projection action. You are positive, so you will think that the principal called them and gave them the duty, and then they did this, they did this, and finished it off. You are negative, suppose. Then you will think that the teacher called them and scolded them for doing this. Now see the different perspective. One is on the positive side, taking it as this addressal for good responsibility giving, and the another one is negative side, taking that responsibility as punishment. So how do I decode? Psychologists decode negativity and positivity, and of course originality. And you have been called so many times by your teacher for different things. Particularly if you have done very well in board exam and maths and all, you know that teacher took interest, you also took interest. They used to call you and tell you that do this well, and you used to take it as directives. If your positive thought is there, you will talk about your positive experiences with teacher, principal, or the discipline in charge, or your sports teacher, or anyone for that matter. And that is exactly what is to be said. Suppose you're a girl, you also would write something positively. You can also write about your experience as a senior, that she is given charge of junior students and she does it. Can be done. You just have to identify how many are the characters. You know the characters are 3. Am I right? Yes or no? You find one here. This is female, positively looking one. Or maybe male also, whatever you really think. But to me it is a female. And there are 2 people standing here, both look to be male. Right? Look to be male. And both can be taken positively. Why are we believing them that they are negative? Getting scolded, why should I? And here we can write positive, and the age of the teacher can be somewhere around 30, the students can be somewhere around 15 or 16, whatever, and you can make your teacher as the central character. In case you want to make a story where you want to use the student, then what you will do is you will change this whole thing into a different system. And what will you do? Here you will make it, and you will take this central character. He was called by the principal and he did this. So now your central character is the person who is telling the story, and in the other one it was the teacher telling the story. So I believe that this way, while PPDT, if you create somebody in charge, a proper hero with the right perspective, with the right thought process, with a good thinking mind, with a calm, composed system, thinking of something new, thinking of something original, and thereafter thinking, working as a team, working for the benefit of rightly, seeing not only the present, but also creating something for the future, and working as a, working with cooperation, ensuring the success, making a positive ending. I think you've done a brilliant job. So write your stories, use your pen, reflect yourself. Don't unnecessarily use negative words in your stories. Write something. Don't copy from the net. Use your mind. You have a rich mind, and I'm going to always support it with more ideas in times ahead. I hope this session would be opening up your mind. I again repeat, in PPDT, you get one story to express yourself. So be very careful in creating a right hero from normal circumstances with positivity in his mind. The story should sound original, but it doesn't have to be over dramatic, doesn't have to be superb. It has to be natural story with right action, with right strategies, with right planning, with a little bit of detail, with working as a team, not trying to create a one-man army, trying to work as a team together, and I think you've done fair. So God bless you. I hope this session, both these story sessions, where I've given you 5 stories before and 5 stories later, will open your mind and will help you to do justice to writing stories. You can write your stories. We'll be soon posting sheets, and you can post us. We have apps both in Udemy, Class Plus, and we are going to come stronger to help you. More officers are piling in. Our workbook is also coming soon, so you will be able to open your mind, because your mind is a wonderful place. The moment it will become rich with ideas, you yourself will do miracles, and we are confident of it. We have been at it for 30 years now, and all of them have done us proud. We are hoping for more to do us proud. God bless you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.